This is Kerry Cook. The Prime Minister has proposed that the Australian Government take responsibility for the management of the water resources of the Murray-Darling Basin from the states. Now, the presumption that the federal government will manage things better than the states, because they're the feds, is something one would expect from the most centralist government in the history of federation. That said, the idea of the basin as a federal responsibility appears sound, and that's because it's a living organism that crosses a number of state borders with a number of different interests to be balanced, from the needs of the environment to the irrigators of New South Wales and Victoria, through to the people of Adelaide who require a secure supply of drinking water. However, it will be interesting to see whether in 10 years' time that the idea that the feds are simply better water managers than the states is sustained. As an example, they're promising to spend $10 billion in capital infrastructure over the next 10 years. Now, because of vertical fiscal imbalance, the fact that the feds collect the vast majority of taxes in Australia mean that they have the money to invest in infrastructure that the states simply don't have. So it all sounds pretty good. However, when questioned about this at the Press Club, the Prime Minister agreed that subsequent governments may not allocate the promised funds. Other priorities may intervene. The PM was also critical of state governments for not commencing some dam projects because of environmental concerns. So it's presumed, therefore, that the feds will plough ahead with any given dam proposal and dam the political torpedoes. That said, you might remember how the feds stopped the Franklin Dam project in the 1980s, all in the name of the environment. So there you go. Now, some could of course say that that's a Labor government, but it might be recalled that the current government dumped its idea of selling its share of the Snowy Hydro scheme because of the iconic nature of that scheme and because of pressure from Alan Jones. Press reports at the time said that the Prime Minister said the strength of opposition to the sale had been far greater than he expected. There was, for whatever combination of reasons, an overwhelming feeling that the Snowy is an icon. And so the Snowy wasn't sold. Now, what's the point of all of this? Well, the point of all of this is merely to note that the Australian government is just as liable as any state government to act in its own political interests when it suits. Water management is simply the issue of the day. A government coming up to a tough election has acted politically to protect its own interests. An idea that a federal government will invariably act in an abstract public interest rather than its political interest, just like a grumpy provincial government, is simply a matter of fantasy. So before yielding control of water management forever, the states should seek to implement the highest level of guarantee possible that the promises made by the Australian government in its national plan for water security are delivered. This is Kerry Cook.